Got some ganja smoke today.
All right, so we're here. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. Glad you joined us today because we're taking a trip across the ocean to a place that has just thrown down the gauntlet for the rest of the world in an example that cannot be duplicated. And that would be coming up next.
You had me a trip.
Matthew,
Hey, hey.
we're going to take a little trip down under New Zealand.
A place we actually were a few years ago.
They have just come up with an ingenious, somehow never thought of law before that actually benefits everyone, including the future. Have you not heard about this?
I guess I have not.
Then let me
At least
fill
it
you
does
in.
not sound familiar. I'm interested.
They just came up with a law that any human being born on or after 2008 is not allowed to purchase or possess tobacco products. Ever.
Anyone born after when?
2008.
Oh, so they're not even of age anyway.
Right now. So when
Gotcha,
they
so
become
they
of
shouldn't be
age,
smoking.
they
They
will not
can't.
be able to buy at all.
So they're just putting tobacco companies out of business on New Zealand in a few years. Excellent.
Well-
Great idea. I love it.
Well, they're not taking away from anyone who's already smoking or
Yeah.
addicted or whatever.
Right. That's
But,
great.
but
That's
the-
perfect.
yeah. But if
I love
this
it.
is, I agree, this is a good thing. But why
Mhm.
wasn't this thought of by anyone else before now?
Why?
Why are you repeating me? Of course, why?
Because the answer is obvious. Because
Money?
it means that tobacco is going to be extinct. They're going to be. You won't unless you grow it yourself.
Okay,
You
okay,
will not be able to buy a tobacco product.
I can understand the U.S. because we rely heavily on tobacco.
Yeah.
But there's lots of other countries that aren't as reliant on tobacco money as we are.
Right, but think about what else you can grow when you've replaced the tobacco with something else, like, I don't know, food. That's a great idea. The farmers will be fine. It's
Right.
the people that take the tobacco and turn it into that cancer shit that kills you.
Right, but like I said, there's a lot of countries that don't rely on that industry that
Mhm.
could have done this a long time ago.
Well, it's not a country that's relying on it. It's a company, corporate. That's the only ones that are going to be affected by that is money. People make it, well, and taxes. That's a huge tax resource. So, like in this country, a huge chunk of tobacco is taxed.
Right, I understand that.
So
but there's
if
other
they
countries-
implemented something like that in the US, we better have a plan to replace that revenue on the other end.
right, I understand that, but
Mm-hmm.
there's other countries that don't rely on the taxes from that as much as we do, that
Mm-hmm.
could have taken this step a long time ago.
Well, that's what we chose to do with it. Instead of taking a step that makes sense, we
Turkish-
decided to say, fuck them, and we'll just take all the money we can out of them.
I know we did, but I'm talking about like Turkish cigarettes that you can only get in Turkey. They could have done that a long time ago and said, hey, moving forward, you guys can still smoke it, but moving forward, the next generations can't.
Can't. Yep.
And nobody has until New Zealand stepped up and said, hey, you know what? We're tired of this. We're going to take the reins on this one.
Yep.
Hold my beer.
Well, because
And they-
non-smokers bitch and complain, and rightfully so. You know, rightfully so. I tell non-smokers to shut the fuck up when I'm outside, though. But I agreed. Now that smoking has stopped being allowed in restaurants and things like that, I think I enjoy my food more. You know, and I smoke. So a bar, though, I do kind of wish I still could smoke. But there's technology. They can make the air quality better in a smoking environment. You know, there's no reason why they can't.
What about those al fresco cafes where you can eat outside on the sidewalk?
Yeah.
You know, you should also be able to smoke out there. You're outside.
Well, and again, that's around being served around food and stuff like that. I think that it would have to be a designated smoking area so other people would know that if they're going out there, you need to shut your pie hole if someone's smoking, kind of thing. Put up a sign.
But this
But
could really improve the health of that country
oh, yeah,
vastly,
that's a great example.
vastly, because their model is they're not going to stop people like me and you from smoking.
Mhm.
They feel that eventually we're going to die off. They're not from smoking necessarily,
But
but
the price is just going to go up and up too as it thins
but,
out.
but we're gonna die. We're gonna die off because of our age, because of other health issues or whatever. And the generations after us who are smoking, it's all gonna fizzle. And then
And
there's gonna be no smoking in that country at all.
and more people will quit as time goes on. One, either the price gets them, or they'll just realize that you know what, I might as well just do it now. I'm going to have to do it then. I might as well try now because at least you could still get them.
Yeah, well,
You
yeah,
know,
you're not,
so
you're not,
I
they're
bet
not
you a
gonna,
lot of people would quit.
yeah, they're not gonna stop you from getting them. They're just gonna stop others from getting them.
Businesses, once it reaches a certain level, may stop selling it. It may not be worth it for a business to, like a gas station 7-Eleven type thing, to sell tobacco products if only a handful of their customers are buying it now. That's great. Either make places smaller or now you have that area for whatever else you want to put back there.
You're talking about industrial wise or farming wise?
No, I'm back to the store like the 7-Eleven.
Oh,
When you go to the cashier, the entire wall and everywhere else around that cashier is all tobacco products of one kind or another. The whole wall, floor to ceiling almost. You know,
now I don't know how far that goes in. They haven't come out with all the minute details yet. But I don't know if that affects people who buy cigars or blunts for weed purposes or whatever, because they are tobacco products.
I don't know. Rolling. Well, you don't have to be able to. You could use another device to smoke, like I am.
We used to use
Power
paper.
today, so I can smoke it that way. Yeah, you can heat it. You don't
We,
have to
we,
have paper.
we used to use paper. No, what I'm saying is, tobacco wise, blunt wise, I don't know if they're going to put a stop to it, but you could always use roll joints like we used to.
Oh yeah, but like you
No.
say, if there's not a need for a rolling paper product, you're gonna find hobbyists. Yeah, that's what you'll find them in, hobbyists, or like craft beer makers. The ones that do it out of the garage or whatever on a smaller scale. They might be able to make rolling papers or whatever for the ones that really want to. I think if the homeowner makes it, it shouldn't be illegal. It shouldn't be allowed to be mass produced anymore.
Well, wait a
You
minute.
know,
Wait a minute. If
if I want to grow it as a homeowner myself, I think it should be fine. Just like I should be allowed to grow my own weed.
So you
You know.
think that you think that even though we put a ban on tobacco,
Mhm.
you should be able to grow your own tobacco?
Yes, if I want to for my own consumption,
But
absolutely.
doesn't that defeat the purpose?
No,
Especially if the purpose is to create a healthier society. Now you're saying we're now
I'm in my house. I should be able to do whatever the fuck I want to do. Period. In my own house. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm going to walk down the street and smoke. I'd have to be limited to my house. Like this state weed, I'm limited to my house. New York, you can anywhere you can smoke a joint.
right.
You
But
can walk
I
down the
see
street
it.
and
I
smoke a
see it a
joint.
little differently. I mean, if you're outlawing tobacco for anyone born on or after 2008,
Mhm.
people who are born on or after 2008 shouldn't be allowed to be
Commercially, yeah, I agree,
no,
100%.
they shouldn't be allowed to be purchasing. See, the thing is, it said purchase or possess. They should not be allowed to possess it in their home and grow it in their home for their own
See, I
consumption
disagree with that. I
because
think
because it's a health issue.
Mhm.
It's not
okay.
like
So what if drinking
unless,
is a health issue? So you mean drinking's gonna be made illegal too?
I don't know.
That doesn't make sense.
I don't know, but more
If
people
I
die.
want to smoke something, I want to destroy myself at home. That's my business, not yours.
More people die from secondhand smoke than they do from secondhand alcohol.
Charge me more of my insurance premiums then. I mean, whatever.
You know,
But to say that somebody cannot do something, it violates that person's freedom to do as they wish. If I decide I want to fucking smoke, I don't want to have to look over my shoulder because I decide I want to cultivate something and grow it in a way for my own consumption. I'm not saying sell it to anyone.
so
No.
so you should be able to
Only
grow
for my
heroin in your own
person-
house.
I don't know. It depends what they do with drugs. But if they made that legal, then absolutely. If I
But
could
it's
grow
not-
heroin in my house,
You
I should be able to.
But that's kind of conflicting because you said if they made it legal, but they didn't make tobacco legal
I can grow tobacco plants at home.
right now. But if the
Mhm.
government came out tomorrow and said, starting next year, no one can grow, or possess tobacco,
I would fight that.
you would fight it.
I would fight that.
And-
I'm okay with saying don't sell it in 7-Eleven. I'm okay
Uh-huh.
with for them saying that I am not allowed to sell it to anyone. That's fine. But for my own personal consumption, I can make my own beer at home. I can have a brewery here if I wish. You
Right.
know, I don't.
But
So
no one
if I
says
wanna
that you
grow
can't
tobacco-
possess alcohol.
Right, but alcohol's damaging. It's not the best for you.
But the difference is alcohol damages you, and
Right, but it's
only you.
me. That's right. It damages
But
me.
you
Not
still
you.
live with-
Not
but
you.
you
It does not damage Lou.
But you still have pets in your house. You still have a wife in the house that gets damaged from cigarette smoke.
Right. She can leave. You know, she has free will. She can go if she doesn't. I'm just saying that once you start going down that road and start taking away people's rights of freedoms, I have every issue with that. You aren't taking shit away from me. If I want to make a stupid decision, it's up to me to make that stupid decision. That's my choice to make.
Yeah,
So
but the
I can
problem
learn
is,
my own lesson.
It may be your choice to make the decision, but it's out now. It falls on our responsibility to fix that decision you make.
Yeah, so charge me more interest premium. Make me piss in a cup if I test positive for nicotine, because my
Uh-huh.
doctor does test me for that now and then. My insurance premiums go up.
Right, but do you understand that?
So I'm paying my way.
But do you understand that insurance premiums don't cover?
No, my
That-
personal ones go up for me.
I
But
understand.
Maybe
that.
my premium, whatever. I disagree with that. You can
mean,
spin it however you want, but that
you
infringes
could
on my
raise
right.
your insurance. You can raise your insurance premiums to $300 a month.
Mm.
You get cancer, no matter how much you
Right,
put
but
in.
where
it's
does
not,
it end?
It's not going to cover that.
Where do we end it?
Which means that now I have to pay the slack for you because you made your choice.
Okay.
I didn't
well,
make your choice. You made
people
your
who
choice.
eat too much are not healthy. Why should I pay for your insulin? I didn't make you fucking eat that extra cheeseburger or whatever else. Not my fault. Why am I paying for your insulin when it's unhealthy?
Well,
Your
first of
arteries
all,
are clogged up. I got to pay for your Crestor, just like mine.
because not everyone who has diabetes
I know that.
has it from overeating.
I know, but a huge
I-
chunk of the population does have it from obesity. That's a huge problem in this country.
And you realize that cancer is a huge problem as well.
But see, that's why I ask you, where do we stop? Where do we stop? Telling people what they can and can't do on their own private property, which is for them to use and enjoy and be free. And every time you say you can't do this and you can't do that, where does it stop? People should be allowed to make bad choices.
Why?
If I'm at the end of my life, I have cancer and I'm dying and I'm suffering, I
Uh-huh.
should have the right to end my life. Right now, that's illegal. But who the fuck are you to tell me when my time has come for me? Right now, that's illegal. I cannot make that choice for myself. I can make it for my dog. When I see him suffering, you know, that's the hardest decision I'll ever make is I hope he kind of does it for me. But they usually don't. It's bad and you have to run and, it's terrible. So if I can make that decision for him, why can't I make it for myself? I do it because I love him. I don't want him to suffer anymore. Dude,
Right.
it's the same thing. Where does it end? Even though there's some things I don't disagree with you. I think that it should be made, I shouldn't be able to go have easy access to it down at 7-Eleven. Philip Morris should be out of business. It should not be mass produced anywhere. But if I want to cultivate something in my own property, in my own space, in my own time, I should have the right to do so. If I want to grow weed in my backyard, I should be able to do that. It's cheaper for me. You know how much I go through. How much money would that save me if I had the ability to grow it at home? But I can't because it takes it out of the money of the people that I buy it from. That's not fair.
So you should be able to grow opium in your backyard.
Sure. I mean, if I have a situation where I need it to survive, and I'm, whatever, my doctor signs off on that and knows that I know how to do what I'm doing and whatever, there's a way to make that work. I know people that grew it and that knew what they were doing, not to sell it, but for themselves, because they couldn't afford to buy over-the-counter stuff to take care of their pain. People do what they got to do to survive. Either it's legal or it's illegal. There's a legal means for a reason why somebody would want to do it. It takes years to grow it. It's not like you can put a seed in the ground and next year you pick it. It takes a long time to cultivate the years and years and years. So I ask you that one question. Where do we draw the line?
We don't. First of all, we don't have rights to begin with. We never did. We have privileges. We have privileges that they let us have. If it's
it's not the Bill of Privileges, it's the Bill of Rights.
If it's a right, you're born with it, and it can't be taken away. If it's
exactly.
A right. But our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, has been amended 27 times, which means they've taken away and changed rights at will. So they're not rights, they're privileges.
Then we have to make sure that when we put people in there, that maybe we make that amendment to the Constitution that says that. That's why our votes matter so much, but I think that's another topic.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm just fixing my thing. Yeah, that is another topic. Speaking of other topics, let's take another trip. All the way up to Italy.
Ooh, where? Anywhere in particular?
Yes, Vatican City. Gonna have a little. I'm gonna say something that people may not agree with.
Should I run now?
I'm not a religious man, but I am a moral person. There's a distinction. I whether God tells me to or not, I'm not gonna go kill somebody. I'm not going to, force myself on someone and, physically or sexually. That's just morally wrong. I'm not going to steal because why should I?
Right.
Those are my moral choices, not because God told me not to do them. Now, with that being said, the Pope died. The leader of the Roman Catholic Church and the head of most Christianity passed
Catholics,
away.
I thought, but
died this past week. Now, on the flip side, Jeremy Renner, an actor, got injured in a snowplow accident, and a Buffalo Bills player had a heart attack
cardiac arrest,
on the field. You keep hearing about Jeremy Renner and Mr. Buffalo Bill, but what was the last thing you heard about the Pope? Why?
I saw he was lying in state.
Why is it a 5-second news clip at 6 o'clock at night, and then these other two, actor and athlete, are being covered 24/7?
That's interesting. They're both idolized. Probably the
but
athlete more so.
But isn't the Pope idolized? I mean, around the world, even not just here in America, where the athlete is idolized. Around the world, the Pope is idolized.
Too. Pele's, got it being paraded down the street. He was amazing, but whatever. Just saying.
Around the world, the Pope is idolized, yet you don't hear any international news, any local news, any national news about what caused the Pope's death, how he died, when he died, who they're looking at to replace him, how this is affecting the community that he was a part of. You don't hear any of that. but you hear constantly, hourly, about how this athlete is recovering, who's sending him well wishes, what's going on here, and especially with Jeremy Renner. Now that the extent of his injuries come out, you got people crawling all over the place, condolences and this and that, or
like $5 million was donated to that football player's toy drive.
Right. No,
in a day.
And the Pope died. Did contributions to the Roman Catholic Church go up after that? No.
Haven't heard anyway.
Right. And see, that's my controversy for the day is, why is a religious icon held in lower regard than an athlete
in this country? The Pope is very different outside this country.
I can only speak for where I am in my experience. I can't speak for the rest.
I agree with you, though. You're right. I mean, that's not a faith I necessarily follow, but I think the respect is there.
I agree with you.
He's done a lot of decent things too. Most of the popes do, from what I personally know. Well, you know what I mean.
This was the Pope. Read in the paper, whatever. This was the Pope that stood up for gay rights.
Right.
And having, same-sex couples in the church, not necessarily married.
I believe he stood up for abortion too, didn't he?
He may have. I told you, I'm not a practicing.
No, Catholics. Fine, they don't care.
A lot of the bishops and cardinals disagreed with him, but they followed, his edicts.
It makes sense. If you think about it, religion has to evolve.
I agree, but then again, he, like I said, he evolved the organization to be in step with the modern era, and yet when he passes away, it's barely a blip on the radar.
Right.
And I don't. I mean, more interest goes to the woman who died in the snowstorm in Buffalo. Would they say 100, a couple hundred feet from her house, then goes into the Pope passing away. And to me, that's kind of confusing. I don't know this woman in Buffalo. I've never heard of this woman in Buffalo, and frankly, I really don't give a shit about this woman in Buffalo. Okay. And I'm sure that if I asked many people, they'd be like, "Who?" But if I went and I said, "Hey, did you know the Pope died?" I guarantee you 90% of people would be like, "Huh? Really? Right. When did that happen?"
Right.
But yet she gets more coverage than he does. And I just don't, and that's, like you mentioned, yes, that is in the United States. I don't get it. I don't get how we prioritize what's news nowadays.
A lot of the places overseas, for example, they celebrate more openly. They close everything down. You're not going to go in. There are no shops open. Right. Especially on the religious holidays and things like that. Forget it. It's all closed. Everything shuts down at from noon to 2 every day.
I know when the Queen died, Queen of England died, they canceled surgeries and cancer treatments. People have been waiting years to get these appointments, had to reschedule because the Queen had died.
Right, but their culture understands and accepts that.
Right, no, I get that. Yeah. I get that. And now the Pope is dead, and people are going, "Who?"
Right, and I feel you. It's like, what do we have in this? It's like every single state and even sometimes county is even divided from itself.
See, and thank you for saying that the key word that you just said, the secret word of the day. You get a cigar. Secret word of the day is state. And let me explain to you why that's so important. Because many of our, and I'm going to say this word without choking.
Go for it.
Many of our Republican friends.
Sorry, I joked.
They sit in interviews on television and radio and pontificate about how big of a Christian they are. From Donald Trump, who loves the Bible but can't tell you which verse is his favorite.
Because they're all personal to him, yeah. It's all special.
To Lauren Boebert, who said, I believe she was the one who said she's like Jesus. When she was asked
Just checking.
about, yeah.
Chanel behind me.
No. To all, all these people who claim that they're doing all this because God, it's against God to have an abortion. It's against God to marry the same sex. It's against God to do, but yet the Pope dies and not one of them tweeted or said or did anything to pay homage to him after he passed. They were all worried about who's going to be the speaker. Nobody stood up and said, "Hey, listen, I just want to say, the Pope passed away. Our condolences to all those in the Catholic Church or whatever, and we're here for you." Right. And then go on about the thing. Not one of them. Not one of those devout Catholics. Right. And that gets me because they're the first ones to tell someone they're not a Catholic. How many times have they said that Joe Biden really isn't a Catholic? He's not a practicing Catholic. He's a fake Catholic.
Yeah, I know.
Meantime,
how the fuck do you know? Yeah, I know.
Meantime, they all come up and go, "I've read the Bible from front to back, and the Pope's dead. Who gives a shit?"
Yeah, point taken there. Yeah.
So y'all can write me letters at 1-800 I just screwed myself, and I'm not trying to ostracize Catholics or non-practicing Catholics or atheists. I'm just saying, if you're going to claim to be something and you're going to claim to do something, then be your best at that. And if you can't be your best, be better. Because claiming to be a hypocrite, claiming to be religious and actually being religious are two separate things. And one of the mortal sins too. One of them is actually a sin against God. You figure out which one that is. So, with that said, you're not gonna catch me saying it. With that being said, that's my controversy for the week. How can Republicans, how can the country ignore something so monumental, but yet worry about how many votes Kevin McCarthy got on ballot number 16? You're right. I don't believe that. I don't believe they're flying. They flew the flags at half mast at the Capitol for the Pope. Probably should have. And that's what I mean. Even Lauren Boebert said, "Hey, the religion is supposed to lead the government, not the government lead religion." Right. And you give her the opportunity, and what happens? She doesn't say dick. Yeah, but he's a Catholic. Wouldn't Christians kind of put their nose up to that? No, because but they only do one religion. The hell with all the other religions. There's only one God. Well, that's where I don't. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a La Brea tar pit there. Yeah. Yeah. So before we get stuck with both feet. Let's say goodnight, man. You're driving this bus, not me. I'm just a passenger in the back. Let's say goodnight, man.